Hello everybody, welcome to the Somali National TV. I'm Abdul Shakur Ali Ahmed. We are having an interview with U.S. Ambassador to Somalia, His Excellency Donald Yamamoto, to discuss the U.S. role in Somalia. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Firstly, what is your assessment of the current situation of Somalia?
So right now there are challenges, but there are also great opportunities and hope. So the challenges right now is not just for Somalia, but for East Africa. We're under a severe drought, which has really been very harmful, and it's affecting about especially 2.2 million people in Somalia. But the United States is committed to supporting and helping these people, as we do each and every year. We're helping to not only provide assistance, but also give them the tools so we don't have these problems in the future, that we can address the food needs. The second area too, and the hope, is that we're now seeing probably a flourishing and an opportunity in Somalia that we've not seen in a really long time. And so we want to really commend the people of Somalia and also currently the administration of Somalia for really addressing these needs.
U.S. budget last year, 900 million USD. How has this been implemented?
So this is a very good point. So Somalia really has not received a lot of U.S. assistance. Only in recent years have we really dramatically increased, not only on the humanitarian assistance, but also what we're doing is expanding on education. And the reason why is because education, girls' education and education in general, is key to economic development. That's one side. The second side is that we're creating opportunities with private entrepreneurs. We created 1,700 jobs last year, and we're also looking at dramatically increasing dairy production, fisheries, and also agricultural and specialty agricultural products, and also looking at vocational training, which is part of our educational issue, to look at how we can expand opportunities for Somalia's youth, which is really 70% of the population.
Early of this month, you have kicked off campaign for Somali Youth Vision.
Yes.
So can you tell us the details about that campaign?
So Africa in general is on the move, and Somalia in particular is really on the move. Whoever has a good labor force and youth that's a national asset. So if you look at Western Europe, the United States, and Asia, the people are getting much older. But in Africa, it's very young, and that is going to be the advantage that Africa has. And so what we want to do is prepare not only Africa, but Somalia for the future. So remember, for every 2 people born in the world, 1 will be African. And so therefore, we want to address the needs and the hopes and aspirations of the youth of Somalia. And right now, it's going very, very well.
Somali youth estimated that they are 70% of Somali population.
Under 30.
Therefore, however, one of the most problem they are facing is lack of jobs. Yes. How is your U.S. supporting to the FGS create jobs for youth?
So there are multiple ways. So number one is not only creating the infrastructure. So in other words, we've already organized 2,000 fishermen, and we've also set up refrigeration units along the coast to take in fish. We don't want other countries to harvest the fish. We want Somalia to do it, because they're going to benefit. And then the other issue too is on the dairy industry, is creating much more coordination with women entrepreneurs and business people and community leaders. So right now in Mogadishu, you have in one plant 3,500 liters of milk each and every day produced. That's going to expand to other parts. And on the third area is agricultural areas, is to produce and expand by what the United States and Somalia, and also the support of the European Union, the African Union, is taking back a lot of the agricultural area for the people of Somalia and away from Shabab. And therefore the people of Somalia will benefit. And then we're looking at integration of the airport and port facilities to bring it up international standards, that means Somalis will be making even more money from the sales of their products, and Somalia will be getting ownership. Our objectives for the United States is to ensure that the people of Somalia and the businesses of Somalia benefit from their resources, not other countries and not other people. It's the people of Somalia.
On the other hand, Somali forces have been making progress against the destabilizing groups. America, what is the role of stabilization process in Somalia?
So the United States we're supporting and assisting with their operations, but stabilization is really critical. So when you go into Sabid and Berere and the Afgoya corridor, what we want to do is we want to convert this and transform the area away from Shabab control and oppression, and let the people really benefit from their own talents and give them opportunities, education, healthcare, and also job opportunities and creation. That is what we really want to do. And I think for the future of Somalia, that's going to be critical. Right now we have, for instance, because of the conflict with the Shabab, you have only 1/3 of the population have access to schools. After our program, I think we want to get up to 100%. And then the other issue too is not only that, but job creation. And that's going to be really key for the people of Somalia, because we have over 50% unemployment. We need to turn that around and see great opportunities, because the greatest asset that Somalia has is its youth. The youth is going to fuel the future of this country.
I think last year you have budgeted 900 million, it's almost 1 billion.
Yeah.
And I think Somalia needs it's time to recover the nation and needs to maybe more investment. How is your plan to the next year?
I think as we increase education and also infrastructure development, and the other issue too is skills development, then what you're going to see is a lot more attraction of investment. Now, as you know, the government is working towards February next year with the IMF, International Monetary Fund, on debt relief. Why is that important? The United States holds the most of Somalia's debt, believe it or not. But the debt dates back to the 60s and the 1970s. This is old debt. So once we forgive that debt and get over it and give Somalia a clean slate, what we're going to be seeing is a lot more investment money and a lot more low interest loans, but also targeting businesses. So what you're going to see in the next 10 years is really a flourishing of the economy of Somalia. In fact, we're so hopeful that we're looking at Somalia really as kind of an engine of stimulus, of economic growth for the entire region. And what a turnaround from the last 27 years when we first closed this mission. Somalia is on the brink of a new opening and generation. It's going to be great.
As you mentioned, Somalia talking to the IMF and World Bank for debt relief, and the government making more efforts for debt relief. As we know, USA, one of the largest debtor of Somalia.
Yes.
So, does the US plan to relieve the debt also?
Yes. So the United States is committed. Everyone is committed, and let me tell you that in the United States, I go back every several months to make sure that we're all on the same page. But the overwhelming support for Somalia is at a level that I've not seen ever. For this, not only this country, but really for Africa. And I think if you look at all the challenges we're seeing in Khartoum right now, you see in South Sudan, you look at Ebola and also the problems in Congo, and then you look at Somalia. Somalia is really a bright spot. But it's fragile. It is fragile, and we got to be very careful and be on top of it to make sure that the development, it grows, expands, and becomes very strong and firm in Somalia. So the United States is fully committed, and because of that commitment, we're seeing commitment across the board. The European Union and the United Nations, the African Union. We also call on other countries to be as committed as well. I know Turkey has been making a lot of inroads on healthcare, but they also have a lot of assets, and we're working with Turkey to really kind of build on Turkey's advantages. The UAE, Qatar, and the Saudis in the Middle East, because Somalia is an Arab League country and an OIC members, and they can also help support. So we want to have a coalition of all these countries supporting, because if we can have Somalia be an even greater success, my goodness, what it's going to be for the rest of Africa, and this is going to be tremendous, dramatic stimulus.
One of the most important things that the government is doing is to reform the national economy. And we are talking about that they are talking to the IMF. On the other hand, they are rebuilding infrastructure. So would you plan to support the infrastructure rebuilding?
Oh, yes. And that's one of the key areas. So we look at the levers of development, and what are they? It's infrastructure, it's also assets, the resources, and also development of those resources. And so education, healthcare, the United States does not have enough healthcare programs, but other countries do, and we're coordinating. But education is important, vocational training, and also giving Somalia the opportunity to really control and take advantage and develop. So you have now a new bank governor. The central bank is developing and advancing. And I learned one thing, Somalia has a bank account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. That helps with also having access to international banking services. And also the things that Somalia is doing is really developing, but the United States is behind Somalia 100% to make sure that you have success and that you benefit from your resources and your skills and your sets.
Somalia has priorities and national plan, NTB, to rebuild the nation. So how USA is supporting implementing NTB?
Yes, so we're here not to direct or dictate how Somalia develops. We're here as a service provider. So Somalia directs and it establishes what the strategy is. We're here to support that strategy. We think the strategy that you have laid out is sound, it's on target, and it's going to really transform. And I think the word transformation is critical, because Somalia is in a period of transformation and advancement. And so what you've laid out on infrastructure, education, and across the board, we're in support, and we're trying to direct and see how we can support that.
USA is one of the largest donor of Somalia.
Yes.
How do you ensure your funding reaches to the right people?
Oh, that's a great question, because right now, as you know, aid in and by itself is not sustainable. What aid is doing is to establish the opportunities whereby Somalia can take advantage of it. So the debt relief and the forgiveness of loans, what's going to happen is that you're going to get a lot more investments, low interest loans and grants, and you can use that for economic vitality. So as that happens, the assistance levels are going to go down across the board, not only from the U.S., but across all countries. And that's a good thing. Why? Because you will not be beholden to any other country. You'll be developing on your own assets and your own resources and your own talent, and that's going to be great. And so you're going to be developing from a developing country into a much more advanced developed country. So that's what our hope and goals. And I think right now on where Somalia is, that's the trajectory we want to see it continue to go.
The relationship between the federal government and federal member states now recent months deteriorated, and you have as a U.S. ambassador to Somalia meet with the presidents of federal member states. Can you give us updates about the outcome of that meeting?
So everything is, Somalis are really tough negotiators in all levels and all areas, and that's good, because you're protecting your interest. And so the member states leaders, I've talked to all of them, And we're trying to emphasize is that we need to be, at this time, at this moment, we have an opportunity to do great things. And we may not have this moment ever again. And so we got to take advantage. And so what we want to do is lay aside any differences and come together and do a coordinated, cooperative, integrated approach so that we can make Somalia and the people of Somalia benefit from the great opportunities that are going to come, not only with the IMF and the US-backed debt relief, but also for what we're looking at across the board on education and economic development and setting up the infrastructures. So everyone is looking at it and saying this is a good idea, but we're trying to bring everyone to the same page, and it'll be a little tough, but I think we'll be successful, because once they see the benefits as we approach February 2020, you're going to see much more movement and dynamism. And the United States is fully committed to ensuring that the interests of the member states and the local regional presidents are going to be protected and defended, as well as the coordination with the federal government, because the federal government is really kind of like the conductor in this whole operation. And not only is it leadership to support the member states, but it also is the leadership to protect their interests and to integrate the interests with the federal government. And I think in that regards, the federal government and the federal member states have for the future of Somalia, their goals and objectives must be to integrate and to support each other.
Thank you, Ambassador. Those general questions to the USA, but I would like to ask you your personal question is, can you tell us, I think almost you have here 8 months, what you learn for Somalia? Somalia has a culture for artists, songs, and language. So what do you have learned?
Oh, it's great. So I've been working on Somalia in and out for 20 years now. And, you know, we send our people, before they come here to Somalia, to the diaspora. So you have something like 80,000 Somali Americans and Somali refugees in Minnesota, and you have in Seattle and Ohio and Maine. And so we've learned a great deal about the food, the culture. And let me tell you, it's really amazing how it's integrated into U.S. culture. And so pretty soon you're going to see Somalia food and music as part of the American cultural scene, just as every other country.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great.
Have you ever tasted Somali food?
Oh, of course, yes, I go. There's a great place in Minnesota, which I just love. And you know, one of the things is you have these spices and herbs and sesame. It's world famous. I mean, it's unique, and that we're trying to brand for the people of Somalia, because once you taste it, you'll be hooked on it forever.
Is there any particular food that you prefer?
Oh, well, I think it's
of Somali food?
Yes. Well, in America, what they've done is they've taken, you have these, it's called nouveau cuisine. So they've taken Somali food and made it a little bit more American to meet the taste buds. But I think that's a transition. Once they taste the original food of Somalia, it'll be great. And we have food here all the time. It's great. It's I really enjoy it. Thank you.
I think you are doing great job in critical time in Somalia. But in your spare time, what do you do?
My spare time is completely devoted and dedicated to Somalia right now. Why? You know, I was supposed to retire a couple of years ago, but having directed all of our U.S. policy towards Africa, that really is the highlight of my career. But they said one more. The Secretary of State, do one more. That's Somalia. Make that the model for what Africa stands for, and that is why I'm here. And I love my family. I want to go back to my family, but I also want to see Somalia succeed, because it's not just the people of Somalia. It's Africa and the world depends on Somalia's success, and everyone needs to believe this. We have to be all in. Somalia's success will mean the success of the entire world.
Absolutely. In America, I thought that the most of American USA people interested basketball. That I thought that you are basketballer or footballer.
Oh no, for the basketball, soccer, and running. I tried out for the U.S. Olympic team in crew. I didn't make it. I was almost close, but I'm looking at here, and I run a lot. The Somali runners are amazing. You know, you had the World Olympic winner from Great Britain is a Somali in the 10,000 and 5,000 meter. Well, can you imagine? He's only one. There are hundreds of them in Somalia. If we can develop that talent, Somalia will be a powerhouse in track and field.
Thank you, Ambassador. Finally, what's your message to the Somali government and the federal members and Somali people?
And I think all of us have to be all in, integrated and supportive of a common objective, which is the development and the aspirations and the future of the people of Somalia. That's what we all need to do. And right now I'm confident that we can do it. The United States will remain completely and totally 100% behind this goal and objective.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you so very much.
For having time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.